Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Meteor Dispatch. This week, it's only Jan and me, and we are starting the hot transition phase toward Meteor 3.0. We've seen some early adoption, we've also heard about people stalling, but however, whatever situation you're in, we got a pack full of information and news that should help you to analyze your current 2.x projects and to make an informed decision on when you start your migrations. Since we have no comments from the last week, no feedback so far, I would say let's jump into the news, and I hand it over to Storyteller with the first topic.
Yes, Storyteller here as always. Storyteller CZ on GitHub and all the other social media. Let's get straight into it. And first things first, those of you who use MongoDB Cloud, aka Atlas, have gotten an email that starting in February, all the small clusters M0 to M5 will be migrated to MongoDB 7. Which, as you can see here, are some of the reasons that they give to switch to it. The problem we have that on the 2.x branch, we cannot use MongoDB 7 because the drivers are just not compatible with fibers anymore. I think there are a couple other issues. So you should start, getting ready to update to Meteor 3, which will have these new drivers, which are compatible with MongoDB 7. So I would highly recommend now is a good time to look into it, especially if you are using Atlas and one of these smaller shared clusters. That's could say a soft deadline for us in the community to really get it going, but it's in February, so I think we have plenty of time if we don't delay to get everything done.
So yet another reason to migrate, right?
Yes, and going from the database to the front end, the question I ask is how much do you know about React, especially if you are using React? And we have here from one of the Meteor original people or people who have been influential in the Meteor community, from Sasha Grieve. He is announcing the first ever State of React survey. As with any survey that he does, this is really helpful in informing what's the current state, what people have problems with, where to go. It's very helpful to the people, behind React, the developers to see. But then the question for you is, why should you want to fill this out besides just providing feedback? And the main thing, as I'm showing here, is it asks you about, hey, do you know about this? Have you used it? What are your experiences? And here on the right, you can see is my reading list. So through this, for me, especially with these surveys, it's not just state of React, but, state of JavaScript, state of CSS, all that stuff is to find new things that I might not have, through my normal day. So I can have a list of new things that I want to learn about. So I highly recommend for you guys to go in, check it out. We have the link in the descriptions, and I will probably post that on the Meteor forums as well as announcements for people to check out. So definitely check this out with a try and see what it is. And I think, Jan, you don't use React, do you?
I actually use React Native, so I already got covered in the survey as well, even if it's just a little bit. But I was surprised there were concepts I knew, which were more recently added, but there were also concepts I didn't know. And it just showed me that coming from the Blaze background, there are actually very interesting concepts to adapt. And I was quite surprised with the survey.
All right, so you heard it from Jan as well. So even if you're using something that's around it, you will find some new stuff. Anyhow, what's going on back to Meteor 3? What's going on there?
Yes. So I published an article on dev.to regarding an analysis helper to prepare your current 2.x projects. And this is mostly because the transition may be a complex task. And I found a way to make it a little bit simpler, building on top of the one when using old API concept that it warns you at runtime about deprecated usage. I don't want to go into detail because I want also to refer to the article. It's written down. There are many concepts on Mongo collections, methods, publications, even validated methods. Check this out, and also please let me know if this helps you, because it is important to get to know what parts of your application needs some migration in order to schedule and plan this migration. I mean, you may have a mid-sized application, but may have many parts that need migration. And that's something where people may get overwhelmed. It might get complex. So what do you do? And here's the thing. This article also provides a nice tool at the end to help you with. So check this out and let me know if this is helpful to you.
Yeah, I would also say here there's like things very specific, like validated methods migration, which is something that I'm not using because I'm kind of waiting more for this to advance. But I know a lot of people are using this, so I would say it goes quite a bit beyond what I have seen so far. So I recommend.
Yeah. Also, one thing, sorry, I forgot to mention, it's non-breaking, or it's intended to be non-breaking. So it should be all built in a way that it should completely align with your current project. And it should be in a way that you can start migrating now or get an analysis now without having to think about, oh my God, I'm breaking my current stuff. Thank you.
Okay. So what else do we have for Meteor 3?
Yeah. So the next news item is actually a very nice topic it's a good news for all the Blaze fans out there and the Blaze users, because we have Radoslaw Munich back on the Meteor async migration development as a part-time developer, and he will assist with async operations, of course, but also he will work on Blaze. And this is something that might be some kind of an answer to many people who raised the questions in the past, like what position does Blaze have for Meteor software or for the whole core development team? And I think this is some kind of an answer here. So we have someone high-skilled, dedicated to work on this now for a certain time. And I hope to see some big love for Blaze in the next weeks. And so I'm happy as well as a Blaze user, definitely. And
yeah, speaking of familiar names, we have Dan Donhart doing something again. So what is that all about?
So Daniel Donhart already proposed to do an improved and highly detailed transition documentation in a kind of a one spot where everybody can find the right information. And he proposed to start first writing, and it should be an addition to the Meteor docs. And there is also a GitHub discussion out there which is referred to, and yeah, this is the document. It's currently worked in Google Docs, but you're all encouraged to participate. So this is also a thing about raising questions about what topics are helpful, what are missing, it's basically also a collection of many past things we already covered here or in the forums. So yes.
Yeah, I'm hoping that once this kind of is finished here, it gets into the guide, because other than that, we'll get a lot of, as I said, multiple documentation, which will just confuse people. So, this might be good to get all the like texts and things together, but it is definitely needs to enter back into the guide or the official documentation, so that it's easier to find for people, because at the end of the day, people who are not as involved in community as we are might never find it unless it's in the official documentation. So hopefully that's where this is going to end, and so that we don't have confusion.
Yeah, that was the problem in the past, that we have these many entry points on where can I find actually this information on how to migrate this, and I have trouble with that, and then they're spread among many places like the Slack, the forums, and also the docs and the guide, and this is an attempt to summarize this all into one big guide to be like the definite guide, as you can say. And that's also maybe a good starting point for an article. Let's see how this evolves. We keep track on this, and we'll inform you about how this will evolve in the next weeks.
Yeah, so it's already over 30 pages long, so it probably will have to be a little bit adjusted to make sure it's or I think it's gonna, like with all these things, you want to make sure it's easy, but then also that you can have the details that some people might demand. So yeah, we'll be keeping an eye out on this and keep you informed. And speaking of the future, there was recently released Node version 21.1. And what does it have to do with Meteor or anything? This, if you know how Node versioning means, this version 21 is pretty much short-lived experimental version where they put in new things, test it out, stabilize them, and then the next major version is the stable release and all that stuff. But what is this important is about this notable changes that they're adding experimental module detection, and this portrays to all npm packages, that it will try to go in and determine what is the type of the package. Is it common JS, module JS, all that stuff? And of course, that will take some time for each package to be analyzed. So if you put into your package JSON type common JS or whatever type you are using, it will then skip the analysis and use the appropriate methods to serve that package, which will of course save time when you're starting the application, loading it, all that stuff. So I've already created a PR for Meteor npm packages to make sure that they are future-proof. So if you have any npm packages, no matter what rated, I would highly recommend that you upgrade them as well so that they are future-proof. It's one line that just tells Node how to treat your package. And with that, hopefully, we'll make it easier or faster a little bit to load your application in the future.
By the way, if you're interested in these topics like NPM in general, which goes beyond the Meteor ecosystem, it's of course related to the Meteor ecosystem, but it's of course also a part of the much broader JavaScript ecosystem. If this is something that interests you as well, please let us know, give us some feedback, or leave a comment, or in the live chat. We're definitely happy to see if these topics are also something for our listeners. And coming from the NPM back to the current Meteor 2.x state, which is also something that prepares us all for the 3.0 transition, we want to talk about the Hacktoberfest release.
Yes, so Hacktoberfest is over. And with that, we have the upcoming version 2.14 release. The beta 0 is out. What you can see, we have new MongoDB drivers in there. There is a new option for SOC.js that you can set up if you're having issues with cores or cross-origin resolutions. There is a new guide. There is a new DDP merge strategy. We have some deprecation for AppCage, which are gonna more definitely to move it around. We have new create user async into the client. So that's all in the beta 0. But wait, there is more. We have, this is not how the file thing is. That's why it's beta. We still have, could say, 2 major requirements that we want to add. First off is we have this pull request for dev bundle 14.21.4.4, which will add, which changes things a little bit in the core of Meteor itself, primarily updating dependencies like Chalk and TypeScript, and a few other things here and there. So that one, once that there are some little bit issues in the backstage with the CIs because the Meteor team is working on some upgrades there. So we have to wait for that to be finished. And once that is finished, we'll have the new dev bundle generated. And if everything is fine, it will get merged and we'll have a new beta release. And then another big one, which is a must, which we will get done before the release itself, is update to Cordova, Android and iOS, because there have been some issues with compatibility recently. So this is getting a big upgrade, or like to the latest versions. And once that is working, we currently have some issues with the test, trying to figure out what that is all about. But once that is done, it will get merged, it will get released. So all of you who have currently issues with the stores and the compatibilities, all that stuff, we'll make sure to make a big announcement, let you know that you should switch to the beta, or I think at the point it will be release candidate, so that you can get over it. And finally, one other big thing that I really want to get in are DDP resumptions, which is performance optimization, especially once, as the name suggests, disconnect, all that stuff. So there are also some tests failing, and we are not sure if it's just flaky tests or if there's some deeper issue. So this one is taking way longer than we have wanted, but that's one is I'm trying to put it, get it in there. We shall see if I can manage it, or if there's somebody, who, could go in and help us out. That would be very much appreciated, because it's kind of nice area where I'm not at my strongest. So any help, would be great. But yeah, beta 0 is out. Please give it a test. 2.14-beta.0. You can upgrade as usual, but you need to put in the release. So that would be Meteor update -- release 2.14-beta.0. And that will get you there. Okay, so that's it for 2.14.
Yes. And that's also for our news today. I hope you found useful information to make a informed decision for your next steps regarding the transition toward 3.0. And on top of that, I also wanted to point out a useful resource, which I found myself to be a useful resource in terms of contributing to Meteor and open source in general. And that is the recently posted live stream from Storyteller in combination with Gabriel Grubba, which he posted on his Twitter channel and also streamed on the YouTube, where they basically reviewed all these points, these mentioned pull requests from the 2.14 release, and gave comments on that. And why I think it's a useful resource is that it gives you, as someone who might want to contribute to Meteor, but also to open source in general, an impression on how people review these pull requests and how they see these pull requests, how they interpret certain situations and contexts, and that might give you, on the other hand, a good idea on how to prepare your own pull request. So if you are still hesitant to contribute, or you might not know if you are, I would say, good enough, because I don't think that there is something like you're not good enough. Everybody is good enough to do a pull request. And I hope this gives you some kind of impression that this is something for you to consider.
Yeah, thank you for the shout out. I will, or my plan is to do more of these in the future, maybe with or collaboration with Meteor Software or some other guys. Maybe we can do some other for community packages. And as you said, the main point was kind of to show people, how do we think when reviewing pull requests, what do we test it, and all that stuff, so people know kind of how to get things done.
Yes, and regarding shout-outs, I also want to do another shout-out this episode for someone we hope to get on the show within the next weeks or in the future, definitely. It's about Max Savin, who is also a very long-time member of this community. I think he joined the forums around 2015, and he provided some very popular packages, especially for development, like the Mongol or the Meteor toys, and also the Max Savin jobs. And we hope to get some impression from him on all the recent development on Meteor, the platform, but also on his packages, his ideas, and his vision for the near future. So shout out to Max Savin.
Yes, definitely would highly recommend everybody check him out. I personally use the Steve Jobs package, which is a cron job for Meteor. Those of you who have been around for a longer time will remember the Mongol package, which allowed you to check what is in your local mini Mongo and do some other stuff. And that was even supercharged with the Meteor toys, which was a set of different tools for development. I'm personally hoping that we can see a new version of that for Meteor 3, because there was some really awesome stuffs in there. Of course, you have the Mongo, so you could see mini Mongo and do stuff with that, but also simulate slow connection, simulate lot of other things that you might encounter. So it's a slow connection, disconnection. You can, I think, log in as different users very easily with just one click, and other really awesome things to test different things, debug, and all that stuff. So that has, I think, had quite a huge impact on Meteor community, and there were other things, especially, and then his contributions to the discussions and all that stuff are also very much welcome, and really provided good feedback. So
yeah, at this point, I also want to encourage everyone who hasn't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe and like. We're just a few subscriptions away from our 100 subscribers, which gives us some more freedom for our channels and provide you the best experience possible with our Meteor Dispatch stream. So please subscribe. And we also have from here I also want to mention again, we're doing this in our free time. We're also taking lots of work into it in order to provide the best information for everyone. If you want to support us from another level, then there's also our sponsorship available on GitHub. And Jan and I are also the maintainers of the Meteor Community packages. So please also check these out if this is something. This is the number one resource of maintained packages by the community, and we're grateful for any feedback and contributions. There's one thing left, and that is we want to remind you again that there will be upcoming deep dives, especially the Road to 3.0, which is scheduled for Jan, when is it scheduled again?
Let's double check on that. It will be in 10 days.
Yes.
November 14th at 2 p.m. So you can check that out. It's on our channel in the live section. You can see that there. You can click the notification button there. You can share it, like it. Please, like with this channel and our podcast, all that stuff. Please like, share, and subscribe, and especially tell everybody else about this, because we grow not by some random recommendation from YouTube, but by word of mouth. So if you share it with people, tell them to watch it, especially if you find this helpful, informative, then that will help us a lot. And
the deep dives will actually be Jan and me, and we will go into a hands-on 3.0 migration. So this is especially for those who haven't got into this from a more detailed level. Very interesting upcoming show. Yes.
I will add to that this will be just the initial episode, which will take the entry point, the high overview of everything, and then eventually we'll have dedicated episodes to all of the other major issues that will go more in depth. And I think we will also then, once we get further along, cover each major milestones into the Meteor 3.0 journey.
And now we already reached the end of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you got something useful out of it as well. And I just want to say, join us next time with another special guest of this episode this week in MeteorJS.
All right. Thank you very much. Bye.